to the world to die for our sins, the love that Christ and God has for us. And today we will be looking at something that concerns us human, that God created in his own image and his likeness. And the topic we are looking at today is love language. Love language. That is the topic we are looking at today. We picked our text from the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 13, 1 to 8. That is where we picked our text from. 1 Corinthians 13. I know some of us can read that Bible verse off heart. Some of us can read it off heart. And our memory verse was from the book of John. John 3:16. That is where our memory verse is from. And can we quickly just recite our memory verse?
For God so loved the world.
Yes, 16.
He gave
Okay.
his only begotten Son.
Yes.
That whosoever believes in him
Yes.
will not perish
But have everlasting life. This ought to be the national anthem of all Christians. When they wake you up and say John 3:16, we should be able to quote it, even from our sleep. So this is our memory verse for today. And like I said earlier, we are talking about God. Because when we talk about love, no other person bears that name but God himself. But here, we are not looking at how we can use this love to affect our lives positively. We know we're in a world of, you love someone or someone loves you in return, whether as a husband to the wife or as a man to a woman that are planning to become husband and wife. To that sister in the house, to that brother in the house that are of marriageable age and are ready, and they are ready to say, oh, God has shown me Brother Lagbaja, God has shown me Sister Tamedu. Then how do we relate in love? How do I understand the love language of that sister? How do I understand the love language of that brother? As husband and wife, do I even know the love language of my wife? Does my wife know my love language? These are the things we need to look at. And when we talk about love, love has no end. Definition of love, it has no ending. It is deep. I love one sentence that is used here in our manual. It says, I want to, yeah, I got it here. Let me just read that place. Say me why. Love as the essence of life is so phenomenally deep that it can't be comprehended by human comprehension. So you talk poets. It can't be comprehended by human comprehension. So no matter how you want to say, I love my wife so much, I cannot joke with my wife. I love my husband so much, I cannot joke with my husband. You still don't know the depths of love. Even by our faith, we believe that the love God has for us is a very big one and very deep. For him to have given us his only begotten Son to come and die for us. We know it by faith. The way continue to manage it now. So it's rich for us to say that the understanding of the world cannot explain love. That means put together, the understanding of everybody in the world can still not explain love. He said all the treasures on the planet Earth cannot buy genuine love. So I am the richest man in the world. I have gold, I have silver, I have everything. This place is telling us that it cannot buy love. That is why you see some people will say, this man that God has shown to me, in the thick or thin, when it is rosy or not rosy, I'm staying with this man. And you have one billionaire saying, come, I have all these riches. That riches cannot buy that love. Because if you leave that man God has given you to go with the millionaire, you will stay in that marriage without loving that person till you die. And you will live in regret. Because you will not get satisfaction. You will not be comfortable in that relationship. So that is why this place says, love cannot buy it. And where I'm going, and all the SI units in this world, this SI is talking about intellectual, scientific, intellectual put together, cannot, in the whole world though, cannot standardize love. And it says, in fact, love is deeper than depth. Depth. So, no matter how you have a dungeon, no matter how you dug a hole, no matter what fits to the beneath of the earth, love is deeper than it, and it is stronger than death. Stronger than what? Than death. So, no wonder even after Christ died, God still loves him. He's been dead 2,000 years ago. We still love him. And his love is still there, speaking for us on daily basis. His love is speaking for us on daily basis. So, when you talk about love, it's something that is beyond human understanding. The best we could do is the affection we have for the next person. Whether our husband, our mother, our father, our siblings. That is the best we could do. That is by our own understanding. But today's topic is saying that how really do you know this person loves me or I love this person? And how well do that person understand your love language? What makes your love keep burning? What makes your love every day keep going stronger? I'm married. If I don't know the love language of my wife, we will just be a man and a woman. If before we got married, we've been engaged in a lot of activities together, we play Ludo together, we go watch cinema together, we study scriptures together, we hold hand and pray together, we do a whole lot of things. And while we are doing all these things before marriage, everything is going on smoothly. We are, they are seeing us as lover birds, lover birds, lover birds. Then after marriage, where is that love birds? Where did they fly to? That is when you see a man and a woman in the house. One is to the east, the other one is to the north. Some couple, you cannot see them walk together. Meanwhile, before they got married, they hold hands. So that love birds, where has it gone to? Why is it dead? Why was the first love? Why was it dead? It is because the understanding of the love language is not there. And that is what today's topic is all about. Now, let's look at some of these highlights we have here, the outlines. It said, what to communicate in love. As a married man and woman, as an intending sister to get married, and that intending brother to get married, that God has given you or has shown you your spouse, you have been able to see yourselves, you have been walking the journey, and you have been planning that, okay, very soon we are going to become man and woman, husband and wife. What are these things you need to communicate in love? Things you must not hide from that person you claim you love. Things you must not hide from that person that you know so much loves you. What are these things? Number one thing is to communicate. Communicate your fears, your doubts, and your worries. You know that it didn't start from the good ones. Communicate your fears, your doubts, and your worries. I doubt it here now that for those that are married, that if you ask you what is the greatest fear of your wife, or what is the greatest fear of your husband, if anybody here can say it. So probably you have not shared it. Maybe when that thing is now happening or about to happen, then the woman will not say, and this has been my fear, oh. And the man will not say, this has been my fear, oh. Why haven't you shared that fear? So that you now know how to walk the journey together. The person that needs to be the strongest or the stronger out of the two will have stood strong to say, this is my wife's fear. I will never allow that fear to come to pass. This is my husband's fear. I will never allow that fear to come to pass. What are the doubts my wife is having or my husband is having? What are his worries? And like I said, this topic is not limited to those that have been married. It's also for us that are intending to get married very soon. And for those of us that are here that we still have a long journey before us before we get married, to understand this fact. Because at a point you are coming to this stage, the moment God has shown you who your partner is, you need to start to work in all these things we are talking about. When we get to where you will not work, I will tell you, this is not meant for you that you are not married, though. This is meant for the married. When we get to that outline, I will say I will differentiate it. Now, let's quickly look at the book of Galatians 6, verse 2. Galatians 6, verse 2. I don't know if the PR are with us. If the PR are with us, okay.
Bear one any other's burden, and so fulfill the law.
About our Canada, man. Boy, man. I should do that young. Okay.
Bear one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Christ.
Thank you. Bear one another's burden, as to fulfill the love of who? Love of Christ. So, if you are not bearing our burdens, we are not fulfilling the love of Christ. And which burden are you going to bear when you don't know what that burden is? If you don't know the fear of your spouse, or your spouse to be, you don't know the worries of your spouse or your spouse to be, you don't know the doubts your spouse has or your spouse to be has, how do you bear it? How? But this has been my fear. Like, but you will have told me now. Probably there are ways to have prevented it from happening. So one of the things we should communicate in love is communicate our fears. Our fears. Communicate our doubts and communicate our worries. I know one of the fear of my wife that has kept me strong till today. That whenever I just sit down and remember that fear, I say caution. Because I don't want that fear to come to pass. Will I say, well, I kukuma know it will happen. So these are the things we need to communicate when it comes to love. Number 2, communicate your riches and blessings. Aside from you communicating your fear, aside from you communicating your doubt, your worries, you also need to communicate your riches and blessings. If the Lord has done anything good to you, in fact, aside from you saying, God, I thank you, the next person to know should be your wife, should be your husband. Even before you saying, telling your parents, if they are still alive. As you are having that good news, and you are saying, Father, Lord, I thank you. The next person, if you are not at home, you will call his darling, treasure, mine, my half. God has done it. Oh. It is after she rejoiced or he rejoices with you, then you can now say, Daddy, now be even before your parents will know. So you need to communicate your wealth. You need to communicate your riches, your blessings. When we look at that book of Acts 2, 44 to 47, we see how the first church started. Let us quickly go there. We all know that story. We see how the first church started, that they sell everything that they have. They bring it to the church to feed others. We see how they live in love. They share their riches and they share their blessings all together. If you are there, let somebody read for us if you are there. Yes? They have all things in common.
And sold their possessions and goods.
And
divided them among all.
Yes.
As anyone had needs.
Yeah.
So continuing daily with one accord in the temple.
Yes.
And breaking bread from house to house, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God and having favor with all of the people. And the Lord added to the church daily those who were being saved.
Thank you so much. Let me just digress a bit. You see this final part that was read. You see them go to each person's house. It is the foundation of the cherubim and